Good morning, everyone. Futures Trader Elite here. NQ Premarket Prep for 8/12/25. Let's find our charts. Okay, let's move this to the 1 hour. Oh, no, I'm gonna start with the 4 hour real quick. We need to kind of go over something here. I got this 4 hour trend line, which is pulled from that low back in April, just so that everybody knows the bottom green line is a well, I mean, it could be considered a daily. So whatever, 4 hour, 4 hour daily. Let's go back to the hour. So now we got this 1 hour trend line here. Major trend line right here, 1 hour here. We got that rejection off its top line yesterday. And you can see overnight, we really hadn't done much overnight. I don't think there was 100 points worth of movement. We're real close to this 1 hour trend line in this zone box. Here you see there's a yellow line here, which is a previous high last Friday, another zone box. I went over these zone boxes yesterday in the NQ Premarket Prep. Here's the all-time high, this yellow line up here. And then there is I got another chart here. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, this is also a 1 hour chart, but it is marked up a little bit different with some zones and fibs. This is where we tested yesterday and it sucked back down. Pretty rough drop yesterday after it tagged that trend line. I did get a short off the first touch of that trend line. Got me in the green a little bit. I came back late in the day yesterday, did some bounces, got a bounce off a 1 hour trend line. Did really well on. I made a video about that. But what we're gonna be looking for here is if we break, I'm pretty sure there's some kind of news today, CPI maybe. I hadn't looked it up yet, but I'm pretty sure there's news today, which could make if you've been around NQ long enough, it could be really wild day, possibly whipping around. But say we break below this 1 hour line right here. I mean, it's probably going to happen. So if it does, we'll be looking at this zone box here, 494. I tend to do, I mean, that's a lot of movement right there, and I'd hate to say that miss out on a lot, but I hadn't been trading there as much as I normally do because a lot of times I would scalp in between a lot of moves until I got the A+ setups, and now I'm just trying to mainly take A+ setups and not even scalp in between. I try not to. But we break that line up there. We're up around 620. If we break that, this box is around 500. 120 point drop, that ain't really anything. I think what I would be most concerned about, depending on how the news plays out, would be this 50% fib down here, which is at 308. That's a 300 point drop, but that's nothing. I mean, we dropped that yesterday, or almost something, 250, I think. I mean, that's just not a lot to get there. And if we break below the 50% fib, then that's a pretty significant structure break on the 1 hour. So it'd probably be all short from there. That'd be a key area I'd be paying attention to today if we go to the downside. And then if we do break the 50, It could just be a waterfall effect, really. I couldn't imagine it getting down to that 4-hour trend line. Let me get rid of this chart. That 4-hour trend line down here, or daily, you can call it whichever you want. It's a daily. So I mean, yeah, if we broke that line there, it's around 6 something. That'd be it's around 283 here. I mean, if you chop over here, get you only about 300 points away. So who knows? That'd be on the bearish side. On the bull side, you know, we just hadn't done much overnight. So really, on the bull scenario is if they like the numbers that come out today or whatever's coming out, we break back through this. You know, we might come down and tap this line during pre-market, this 1 hour, but then this starts moving up here, you know, and we retest this line again, this overhead resistance area in this box. I just feel because I had that measured move. If y'all was watching yesterday, I had that measured move. You know what? Let me go back and get that chart. I think this is the one. Yeah, I had this measured move right here. And that measured move, I must have moved this trend line. Something's wrong here. Because there was a spot here where that there was a trend line right. Oh yeah, there was a trend line. Something wrong. There was a trend line somewhere right here. Yeah, and it broke through that 1 hour trend line yesterday. But that trend line was there, and we took that measured move from here to this high right here. And then we took it here, and it was the exact same thing to this high right here. So, of course, it only come back to here. We put this new trend line in. We take it to there. It puts that measured move to 950. If the numbers are good today, I don't see why. If we break the all-time high, get through all this zone here, all this resistance, 950 is on the table, and if we say 950 is on the table, then 24 is on the table because of the whole number theory. So that's really not that far away. 350 points or so from where we're at, I think now. That's nothing for NQ to move. I mean, I could really see this trying to just sweep down to this line if we get good news. If the news, if the market likes the news, I could see it sweeping down to this line and heading straight up. So let's just see how the market reacts to the news when it opens, and we'll have to go from there. But like I said, you got these key levels. 308 is the 50% fib. And that don't mean that this couldn't, it could swipe and go way lower than that 1 hour line. Let's say it came down to the 50% fib, but then bounced. That's a possibility. It's just looking for areas of confluence for the A plus setup. I mean, I wouldn't be scared if it dipped to the 50% fib. You can see the 50% fib does not land in none of our zones, and we can't draw a zone there because there's just not a zone there to draw. It's just where the fib lands. So I would have to say there's a zone box right here. That's at 350. 308, there's a 50-point difference. I would have to say I'd put up some risk on this zone box, which is 385 to, let's say, 355. and maybe overshoot this zone box the way this wick did here, you know, order at the bottom of this box, order in line with this wick here with a stop just below, not all the way to the 50, unless maybe you're trading MNQ. That's too much risk with NQ to put it way down there, but at least for me, it's too much risk. That'd be a scenario of a play that I would take right there. Today might be kind of tough. We'll just have to wait and see. We don't have many trend line bounces to play unless it rides this trend line and you can buy the dip every time it touches it, or or we drive straight up on news, tap that line again. It might be a good short area. The faster it gets there, the better the initial first touch is how important it is the speed, because if it gets here fast, let me move this chart. Let's switch this down to just maybe the 5-minute. Let's see what we're looking at here. Okay. So that's a lot of move, but that ain't that it can. But say that this went up here and hit this line, I would be for sure putting in at least probably 3 orders up here on this line for the first touch, because if it gets up there, the faster it gets there, you put 3 in there and it's bam, 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 picks all your orders up, it's going to suck down 30 points more than likely, if it gets up there fast enough. But if they do that up and down, sideways, up and down, and work and slow grind to that, and it gets real close, that's a little too risky. Then it could just pierce right through that line and not play out the way you would think it would. It's all about how fast it gets there. But then even on the first touch, you got to be ready to get out, because it speeds up here first touch and sucks down maybe only 15 points, and in a split second that thing can jump 15 points or 20 points, and then you're in the red or break even because of how fast things are moving. And then when it does do that rebound, it might not be a retest. It could shoot right through it. It happened the other day after the initial first test. It came down, broke it, went a little bit higher, and came down about 50 points. On the first test, it only came down about 10 or 15 points. It broke through by about 30 points, then dropped about 50 or 55 points. So patience is key. Don't just get in there and just start buying and forcing trades. Just take your time. We will hopefully get some good trades somewhere in here today to do some recaps for later in the day. Everybody have a good day and good luck, and just be patient. I'll see you guys later.